Hey y'all, earlier today I shared some breaking news that two different federal judges have demanded that Brooke Rollins at the USDA and the Donald Trump regime restore funding to the SNAP program, that they release this pool of emergency funds to continue to provide SNAP benefits to 42 million Americans during the government shutdown. And none of my videos get seen by anybody on TikTok. I'm lucky. I'm lucky if my videos break 1,000. But that video did numbers on Facebook and on YouTube. And I got tons and tons of comments from people that were basically like, what does it matter? He's not going to follow the court order. He's not going to give out that money anyway. Who's going to make him do it? Trump's not going to give out that money. Like just endless streams of comments of like, well, he's not going to do it. It's not going to happen. Nobody's going to see that money. And these are from people who are not Trumpers. These are from our folks, right? I had an awful lot of people who are like, he's just going to appeal it and it's going to go nowhere. And I understand. I understand the way that we all feel, like once bitten, 27 times shy, right? Because we've seen over and over and over again courts upholding overwhelmingly the rule of law, and then things go to SCOTUS and they have their fringe unitary executive theory, and the 6 uber conservative judges just say, fuck the Constitution, fuck the rights of the people, we want to make Trump into a king. So like, I understand, but I just want to encourage you, please stop acting like you can see into the future. Please stop acting like you have a crystal ball, and that when you peer into it, you can see that Donald Trump has won everything, that he will inevitably be victorious. Like, stop doing that. I understand it's much easier to be pessimistic, to be nihilistic, and then that way you won't feel disappointed the times that you don't get your way. But if you don't fight for the future that you want, you have already conceded that future to the fascists. Overwhelmingly, the courts have stopped Trump. Overwhelmingly, people are holding the line for the rule of law. Yeah, of course they're going to appeal. Of course they're going to try and push back. Of course the fascists are trying to erode the rule of law. They're trying to keep bullying all of us into submission, and we're not going to give them that. But when you say like, oh, what good is this ruling going to do? It's just going to get overturned on appeal. Oh, this doesn't matter at all. No, every victory matters. Even delaying the Trump regime is a victory. As long as people are fighting and working to uphold the rule of law, as people continue to resist, more and more people will see that courage and join in. As long as people are resisting, the regime cannot win. So anytime there is a victory for us, we must celebrate it. Stop handing the future to Donald Trump. I made a video a couple months ago on the concept of future faking. You are letting Donald Trump future fake you, which is where he acts like he's inevitable. He gets to write the future. Everything he wants to do, the terrible vision of Project 2025, it is already made manifest in the future, and there's nothing you can do about it. That is future faking. Y'all, the future is unknown. It has not been written yet. Like Fall Out Boy says, no matter what they tell you, the future's up for grabs. They haven't written the future. The future does not belong to them. Stop pretending like he's got a victory. It's really bad for you psychologically. I understand in the short term, it's like, oh, then I don't have to get my hopes up. And it sucks to get my hopes up. And then, there's setbacks. When you're in a long-term, when you're in a functionally a war for democracy, right? Trump is waging war against democracy, against American citizens. You have to understand that you're not going to win every skirmish. And if you get bogged down on every little tiny area where you have a setback, your perception can get really warped, and it can feel like you're losing when you're not. But in this case, like, we have a victory, not only a victory, 2 victories in one day, 2 different judges were like, fuck no, you can't keep this from 42 million Americans. This is a victory we should be celebrating. We should be upholding the expectation that these rulings will be upheld. These rulings will be enforced, and SNAP benefits will be released. Part of the not allowing Donald Trump to move the needle is that we expect democratic norms to be upheld. We exercise our rights in order to protect them. We have a very firm expectation that, of course, the rule of law will prevail, because it would be outrageous for it not to. The minute you start to be like, well, maybe Donald Trump can do whatever he wants. Well, maybe he can ignore the courts. Oh, he's just going to ignore the courts anyway. Then you're giving him room to be able to do that. Sorry, my children are having a really good time in the other room. One of my kids is home visiting from college. They're all in there being silly. Anyway, please understand. Oh gosh, I wish I know I make so many videos on this subject, but I just have to keep hammering it home until people get it. Like, it is okay to keep repeating it over and over. Or I need to remind myself that it's okay to keep repeating over and over that this is a psychological war as much as anything. They are waging a war against your willpower, against your endurance, against your ability to hold your ground and refuse to obey. That is why you have to take up the posture of fuck you, make me. That's why you have to take up the posture of there is nothing they can do that will make me bend the knee. They are so desperate to demoralize you, to freak you the fuck out so that you are in full panic mode, so that your emotions are running you, so that you are hysterical. And when you are in that really heightened emotional state, your emotions will make you do something that you later regret. When your emotions are really escalated, your anxiety is incredibly high, you are much easier to manipulate into submission. That's why distress tolerance skills, that's why emotion regulation skills are really crucial right now. And also understanding their primary tactic against you is psychological, and you cannot let the tactics of the regime work on you. I know, I sound like a robotic stick in the mud being like, okay, guys, we got to lock down our emotions. We have to have our rational brains on. We don't have the luxury of freaking out and panicking. Yeah, because you can't give them a victory. The future does not belong to Donald Trump. The future is unknown. In fact, I want to talk about this more in the coming days. There is a chapter on Timothy Snyder's new book on freedom that's about unpredictability. And I just went back and reread it because I think the first time I read through the book, I was really stuck on the chapter about solidarity. I was really focused on the chapter on solidarity. And a friend of mine was like, it's the chapter on unpredictability for me. So I went back and reread it and I was like, oh my gosh, there's so much here. But one of the big things is that the future is not yet written. So stop writing it for Donald Trump, or stop believing him when he tries to future fake you and tell you that he knows what's going to happen and you must accept his version of whatever fantasy he wants to enact in the future is like, it's inevitable. It's not inevitable. Please, 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 if there's nothing else that you do, if there's no other resistance work that you do right now, invest in learning emotion regulation skills, distress tolerance skills. Invest in learning about how propaganda is used to manipulate, coerce, and control you, to get you to obey, to hand over your freedoms. And that if you refuse to be manipulated, if you learn how to shore up your defenses against the psychological game that they are playing, they can't beat you. They cannot beat us if we simply choose not to obey. Yeah, they'll escalate their tactics. Yeah, they'll try and break the rules. They're trying to obliterate the rule book. They're trying to obliterate the Constitution and democratic norms. They're trying to institute an authoritarian state where they can do whatever they want, where ICE shooting people in the streets is normal, where ICE zip tying children is normal, where ICE throwing mothers to the ground is normal, where ICE can just threaten you because there's no longer a rule of law. They are thugs able to do whatever they want with impunity. That's the future that they want in this country. And the only way they get to secure that future is if you give it to them, if you choose to obey. They are a known quantity. We know the tactics that they're going to use. So don't play into their hand. Learn how propaganda works. Learn the way that they are psychologically manipulating you. And then don't fall for it when you find yourself saying things like, oh, well, yeah, okay, who cares about these 2 rulings today restoring SNAP benefits? Because it's just going to get overturned on appeal. Or Donald Trump just won't follow the rules. He just won't obey the court. How do you know that? You don't know that the future is not written. When you find yourself saying shit like that, be like, oh my God, I have a weakness. I have a hole in my defenses, and I have let the tactics of the regime do a number on me. I have let them work my little brain over until I am starting to regurgitate their talking points. I am now carrying water for the regime. I have now not only started to believe the bullshit that they are slinging, but then I'm regurgitating it on social media and doing the work of spreading their propaganda. I cannot be that kind. I can't be that person. I will not be that person. You have to speak the truth to yourself. You have to shore yourself up. And when you find yourself sliding, when you find yourself being susceptible, you need to say, snap out of it, motherfucker. What the hell? I'm not giving the future to these fucking cargo cult fascists. I will not give the future of this country over to the likes of Mike fucking Johnson, JD couch fucker Vance, and Donald Taco Tits Trump. Like, I'm not fucking doing it. However you need to psych yourself up so that you are able to defend yourself against the propaganda of the regime, do it. Get some distress tolerance skills. Get wise to how their propaganda works and protect yourself from it.